This is the plaintiff, Carol Gardner. She says the defendant's 11-year-old nephew crashed his dirt bike into her fence, wrecking it. She called the cops. They confiscated the bike. The defendant started making payments for the repairs and then stopped cold. In fact, the woman was never heard from again. So that's why she served her with his lawsuit and dragged her into court today to get the $100 she's still owed. These are the defendants, Latricia Warren and Christopher Pierce. Latricia says she paid the plaintiff the correct money to repair her fence, but the woman's taking advantage of the situation, trying to get a completely new fence out of them. Enough is enough. They paid for the damages, aren't going to be taken advantage of, and are pretty darn sure the judge will agree. They're accused of fencing in a neighbor.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant's 11-year-old nephew wrecked her fence with his bike. But the defendant says they paid for the repair, but they're not paying for a new fence. It's the case of not mending fences.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Carol Gardner.
Yes.
You are suing Latricia Warren and Christopher Pierce for $100, the balance left on the fixing of your fence as a result of young Mr. Pierce's negligence, according to you. Tell me what happened.
On September the 11th, 2011, I was watching the ceremony at the World Trade Center, and I was listening for a name because one of my colleagues' son had been killed. And after the ceremonies, I decided to look out the front door just to look outside. And to my horror, my fence was missing its pickets, the top rail, the bottom rail, gone, laying on the front lawn.
9/11 was a horror.
Right.
Your picket fence, not so much.
Well,
okay.
you know.
I think you're a little overly dramatic, but okay.
Well, to me, I was just shocked.
Okay.
Because I had heard nothing. And I'm thinking it couldn't have been a car because a car would have taken out the whole thing. So in my house coat and
pantuflas.
Yes, I went out.
Veteran slippers.
I didn't even get dressed. I went out and I said to the kids, I saw some kids down the street. I said, what happened? And many of them I know because I taught some of them.
Oh, they must have been scared to death.
So they pointed at Christopher.
Okay.
So I didn't recognize him, and I asked him, what is your name and what happened? And he told me.
What did he tell you?
He said that the dirt bike ran over the fence, and that's all he told me. So I said, well, I need to see.
Why didn't they knock on your door after it happened?
No. He was scared. He's a kid. He's scared. So I said, I need
him. Yeah.
I need to see your
I wanted
parents.
to be my teacher.
I said,
what happened?
I rode the dirt bike into the fence.
You rode the dirt bike into the fence. How old are you?
13.
Are you supposed to even be riding the dirt bike?
No.
Whose dirt bike was it?
My cousin's.
Your cousin? Were you visiting your cousin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was visiting what relative?
He was visiting my aunt.
Your aunt. And how long was he visiting her for?
The weekend.
The weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a very eventful weekend. And then the cousin lives in that house?
Mm-hmm. It's my aunt's child.
And that child is how old?
13 now. So he was probably...
So he has a dirt bike?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who's that back there?
That's my cousin. It was her brother's dirt bike.
Okay, so how'd you lose control of the dirt bike?
The thing went out of gear.
Uh-huh. Where were you riding it?
In a street. And then I got onto the sidewalk.
Right? And you kind of lost control?
Mm-hmm.
So why didn't you go knock on her door and tell her, hey, I hate to tell you this, ma'am, but I ran into your gate. That wasn't going to happen at 13?
Uh-uh.
Nope. Why not? Christopher, why not?
I don't know.
You were scared?
So is the parent or guardian responsible for what the 11-year-old does with a bicycle where he hits the fence or whatnot?
Yes.
Why?
Because the parent's a legal guardian and the child is a minor, so anything that child does.
That's the question, though. Is anything the child does that mean the parent's automatically responsible?
I don't think so.
Why?
Well, you can't control your 11-year-old from accidentally losing control of his bicycle.
Fair enough, but if she's right, does that mean the only recourse is to sue an 11-year-old?
No, I wouldn't say so. They don't have any money.
So then what do? You have to eat it?
No, you just have to deal with it.
Oh, you don't have to eat it. You deal with it. I got it. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
One of the things that you need to be learning now is that it's always better to take the high road, right? Like if your mother were in your ear, just sitting right here and in your ear, what would your mother tell you to do?
Tell the truth.
Right.
No, I'm his aunt.
You're his aunt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where's the mother?
Not in the picture.
You're the guardian.
Yes.
Forgive me. If your aunt was sitting right here, that's a much better example, right? If your aunt was sitting right here and talking, your guardian aunt was sitting right here and telling you what to do, who probably considers you his mother. What would be the advice? It would be to tell the truth, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to know that if you're in this position again, that you do the hard thing and man up, right? Because it's always better that way, and then you'll work it out. All right, so do you have pictures of it when it happened, before it was fixed, or it's already fixed?
It's already fixed, but I have pictures of what I found when I looked out the door.
All right. Now, can you two switch a second? Ugh. It's just missing?
Completely.
Where was it? Oh,
It was on the lawn.
Yeah, but there's no picture of it, like you had removed it?
No, what happened was when I spoke to Christopher, and he pointed to the house where he had come from, I knocked on the door because I had met the lady of the house. They had just moved in over the summer. So I was talking to her, and as I'm talking to her, I see Christopher and another young man putting the fence back together. They were putting the pickets in the top rail and the bottom rail. They were really working hard to get that fence together. So then the lady of the house and I walked down, and I showed her how the bottom rail had been completely dented in. The pickets were terrible. But I was more concerned for him because he could have been badly injured if that hadn't been a vinyl fence that gave way when he hit it.
Well, can I ask you a question? How old do you have to be to ride a dirt bike? You have to have a license, right?
Well, not really, not a dirt bike, but it's not supposed to be written on the...
Yeah, it's not supposed to be written into her property, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be written.
Yeah, because my mother came from Georgia, so they rode the bikes down there.
You could ride it in the fields and not have any
except for you're not in Georgia anymore, you're in Nassau County, New York.
Yeah, so, and they was trying to teach him at that too.
Right. That didn't go so well.
No.
So let me ask you a question. He's there for the weekend. So your mother is supposed to be watching him. Mm-hmm. And you end up paying, the repair cost $350.
Right.
You were very patient. You paid little by little, and you've paid $250. There's $100 remaining. How come your mother didn't pony up anything? Because she's really the one who's watching him at the time. She's watching the, quote, 13-year-old.
He was 11 at the time.
11 at the time.
He was 11.
And they're like, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody thinks that whoever's a guard, your kid did it, you got to pay. That's not what the law says. There's some very specific circumstance. That's right. And you're right about that. There's some very specific circumstances where the parent or legal guardian has to pay. And this isn't one of those circumstances. In other words, what's she doing wrong? All she did was send somebody to responsible grown-ups. Do you live there too?
No.
Home, but you stand up. You have a seat. Okay. You come on up right there. Right there. Have you gotten your first job yet? No? What are you planning on doing this summer? Because I think I know what you're going to be doing.
I don't know.
You're going to earn some money. How do you propose to earn some money this summer?
Like taking out people's garbage.
Walking dogs, mowing lawns, right? Okay, well, you're going to take on some jobs because I'm not going to issue a verdict against you because you have no parental liability in this circumstance, but I am going to issue that verdict against you. Okay, because you've admitted that that was something that you did. It's fine. It's an accident. But when we have accidents, we've got to make it right. And there's the last $100 to make it right.
Right.
And I'm sure that they can afford that $100, but it was important to them, I think, to make sure that you understand that you got to make it right. Okay? You're a nice young man. So go make it right. Work this summer and pay off that $100. Verdict for the plaintiff, $100. Good luck.
Thank you.
And tell your mother that 13-year-olds cannot be riding dirt bikes in this residential area, okay? Tell her we're not in Georgia anymore. Yeah, they were 11. It was worse, you know?
Hold on.
All right, so the fence will get paid for as the plaintiff wins this case. Come on, step in here. Are you satisfied how the judge has ruled on this?
Yeah, I never said he didn't break the fence.
Right.
It's just that my purpose was it was an accident.
You feel like she tried to take advantage of the situation in some way?
I mean, the case is handled, so we're going to go off of that.
All right, come on in. Let's just get your final thoughts on being in court and seeing how the judge handled the situation. What do you think about that?
It was all right.
Right. Are you going to change anything? What are you going to do?
Try to pay it off.
All right, good man. All right, good luck with everything.
Thank
All right,
you.
head right around the corner this way, okay? All right, so come on in here. Are you satisfied now that this is all concluded
Yes, I am.
properly?
Yes.
You have anything against the way they conducted themselves?
No,
in this
we
thing?
had a very cordial relationship. They gave me 5 payments, and then it just stopped. So, and I didn't know why. So, I'm here.
All right, Harvey.
I know this sounds harsh, but you can sue an 11-year-old because judgments in many states are good for 10 years. So they may not be making money now, but if you really want to pursue something, if a kid is really bad, and I don't think it's this case, but if a kid's really bad, you can end up ultimately getting the money. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.